practice for all of us. It's a good thing to do because you'll be doing it anyway. So why not just get it done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we're live here. This is George, and you're at our channel, Turn Passion to Income, and I have my business partner Stan right over here next to me, probably that way, and then we have a special guest all the way over there, Alice Cameron, and Alice and I met. How long ago was that? About 6, 7,
2013, I think it was.
about 7 years ago.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, so we were at a convention in Hawaii learning about marketing and so forth, and we've been, in contact with ever since. So going forward here, I thought, and talking to the audience here, you guys out there, is Alice is a perfect type of person who has well, I'm not going to say she has the perfect lifestyle because I don't even have the perfect lifestyle, but we all strive for that kind of stuff. So she has a story that she's going to share with us today. I've got a few other questions, and Stan might have something to finish this all up. And Alice, I know I sent you some questions yesterday, and I think that the doc might have been locked or it didn't come from the right account. Were you able to even see any of that?
Yeah, just I couldn't make changes in it. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, to see that, yeah.
So give us a quick backstory, a bio of yourself or something. What do you want everyone out there to know about?
Yeah, it's funny. I worked in litigation for over 30 years. And I worked in an office my entire life, never even considered another career or, I was passionate about my own fitness and my kids. I had my 3 kids and I was working full time. And I felt like I woke up one day and was 20 pounds overweight. I'm like, what the heck happened? Like taking care of your bosses, your job, your family, you just get last on the list. And, I was like, this has to change. And so that's when I began my whole journey, my own fitness journey. And as I realized quickly that I couldn't do it on my own. So I had to create a community to help me to stay accountable and for my own journey. And as I began that community, it just became so obvious that I just fell in love with that. I fell in love with everything about it. And now I had a vision of, wow, maybe this might be something I can do, like instead of my crazy heart pounding, stressful litigation job. And that began my journey of, hey, so I just basically share what I was doing and people came alongside me, friends, family. And I began to share and I just fell in love with it. And as you begin to add value to people, you begin to actually, money follows value. So I felt like as I began to grow my own journey and helping other people, it's the likely progression was that it was becoming like a business that I can actually be able to make some income with. And now I had a whole new vision of, wow, maybe I can do this as my retirement career because I'll be 55 in June. So for me, that's kind of my whole vision has changed. And it's just been so awesome to be able to, it keeps me accountable. I get to help people change their lives for the better. People lost 85 pounds, 75 pounds off their blood pressure medicine. And it's just been such a beautiful journey to be able to find a new passion and a new career, which I kind of happened by accident. I never intended it for it to happen, but it was something I was so passionate about that it just was progressed on its own, which has been amazing.
Fantastic. So I've got the questions that I had up from yesterday. So tell us about like the different one or two of your passions. I mean, I know you just went over that, but just the direct question is, what are you passionate about that you're following right now?
So obviously for me, I'm a huge person of faith. So that's always like first and foremost. And even with my business and my coaching, fitness coaching, wellness coaching, I still lead with my faith because I feel like there's so many components to living a life of wellness. It's not just what we eat and drink. It's not just our exercise, but it's what's going on in our mindset, as well as what's going on in our heart. Like our heart really, if you read the Bible, we do everything from our heart. So we make good choices and bad choices depending on the condition of our heart. So that's something I'm super passionate about as well, because I think so many people, they miss that part. They start this crazy business and they do really well, but then they have heart wounds that cause them to make bad business choices, right? Or, you can, so I think it's a big piece that people miss. I'm super passionate about that. I feel like everyone we all have hurts. We all have things that trauma happens in life. We can't stop it. Like loss happens, but learning how to navigate through those heartaches just improves your whole life, and including your just wellness journey. So I'm passionate about that as well.
That's great.
Those are my
That's
two
great.
big passions.
How did you, any other passions that you might have? Let's get one more out there.
I like to. I'm very creative. So I just started painting a lion. So I'm painting a lion on a canvas for the first time ever, and that's been
Wow.
super. Yeah, I do all kinds of. I just like to try different things. I like to run. I have many passions, but most of them revolve around creativity, faith, and wellness.
Fantastic. So how did you come across these? Were you looking for it, or did it just show up? Did someone
I
present it to you?
I think the way that for me it's just a matter of trying different things, right? So until you try something, you're not really going to know if you're going to like it, if it's going to be something you'll be passionate about. A lot of times those things are deep in your heart anyways. So once you try something, you're able to realize, hey, I hate that. I don't like it at all. Or you might be, wow, this is amazing. So being willing to, get out there and try different things. You won't know until you try it to see what you'll be passionate about. A lot of times, like I said, those things are deep. Like my passion for fitness began. My mom used to do Jack LaLanne in the front room, and I was a little girl drinking my sippy cup. So, I mean, sometimes there's things in life that you kind of evolve into who you are. So yeah, that's
That's fantastic. Um, so tell us, what are you? Let me see if I can reword this thing right. Maybe you could reword the question for me here. But what are you doing with it now? Like, how have you turned it into a business? And I know that we kind of talked about your faith and the heart, and then wellness. So how are you able to take your passion and then put it into a business for yourself?
Yeah, and that's something I think that's super important, particularly today when what's happening in our times right now is
Mhm.
people have to be willing to look outside the box. Maybe you're like me, you worked a job for 30 years in an office and you're like, well, what now? Like, what do I do now? So it's a matter of being willing to look outside the box. You can take your passion, right? But it can't at the same time something else in front of it. So maybe, you have trained employees all these years of how to use certain things. That could be your front end to where, right, whatever you have in your hand, you have to ask yourself, what's in my hand? What have I done really well over the past years that I enjoy, that I'm passionate about, right? And that's something you can create a course, a 5-day free group, and then you have a master class following afterward. There's so many options you can do with your passion to create something that the question is, what problem can I solve for somebody else that I have in my hand that I already know that I'm really good at and that I'm passionate about? Because when you take that, I think it changes everything. You're able to, create something different than what you've had. And again, it's outside the box. And most people, have something amazing in their hand that never even considered, right? Like for me, I've done in ministry inner healing. I never even thought about it's something I could actually offer people in ability. It's a service. I mean,
Yeah,
ministry shouldn't be free. Everyone, right? Everyone's time is money, and it shouldn't. It's just something people should pay for, right? So it's like people sometimes have to change their mindset about certain things to be willing to look outside the box to realize, it's a win-win for everybody, right? What do you have in your hand that you can give someone else that can,
mhm,
a redemptive solution you can solve for somebody else with what you already have in your hand and your knowledge. And your
sure.
passion could be in it too, right? But it's a matter of creating a business structure around that.
Right, right. Just for, I know this interview is about you right now, and I just want to kind of go a little bit towards what my wife has done. She bought this machine called Cricut or Cricut, whatever, and she liked these detailed things. And she's a full-time nurse, but bought this little machine back in September, and has been doing these little projects. And now her friends have shown up, like, hey, they're raising their hand. Will you make something for me? And she's not getting rich off of it, but she has a little bit of an income from it. Just like you talked, she
Yeah.
had something, she's got creativity, and she put something together.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect. And then she can start training other people to do it. Hey, you want this? Let me teach you. This is how I do it.
Yeah.
That could be another whole course. So there's so many ways you can spin off of things that you already, the wealth of knowledge you have in your head. What can I do with that? What's a problem I can solve with this that can
Right.
help them and help me? And so I think it's just a matter of, again, looking outside the box and realizing people have so much in their hands already, but they
Yeah.
just don't have the belief in themselves that they
Right.
can do, right? Can I do a business? Well, don't start, take a baby step,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do a 5-day, 2-day free, challenge and
Hmm.
just see what comes out of it. And so
Right.
I think that's just a matter, again, it's just really, and again, sticking with your passion is super important. If you, like for me, I would never teach litigation. That would just be like hell. Do you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, I know it from the back of my hand, how to do the court filings, I know all that stuff. I would never want to teach that. So obviously I'm not passionate about that. That would be hell for me.
Perfect.
So, right? It has to be your passion.
So go ahead, Stan. You've got something to add?
That is perfect. Yes, that you have a passion about it. It would be really tough to teach about litigation, have a course in litigation. If you're not passionate about it, you probably know everything about it. You have a great skill in it. I do have to ask you one question. You said people need to have a belief in themselves. Now, can I ask you, how do they get belief in themselves? What would you recommend for them to acquire that belief in themselves?
Well, there's a number of ways, right, that you can learn to change your own mindset of how you look at yourself, right? How you speak to yourself in your brain. If you're telling yourself, I look in the mirror, I am so fat. Well, you're going to create that in your life. And so that one of it is just learning how to retrain your brain and create new neural pathways of how you speak to yourself, how you look at yourself. Another way too, again, is your heart. Like, do you have, did your second grade teacher at one point tell you were stupid? And then you've held on to that offense and that hurt and that belief, right? And now, it's going to affect you your whole life. So a lot of times it's personal development, or if you have faith, digging into healing to get past those hurdles of things that people might have spoken over you that you're holding on to, not even realizing you are, until you stop and really think about it. Like, why do I have this belief about myself? Why is it that why do I think that I can't do this? Why do I think that I'm dumb? Right? What is that? Really sit down, have a heart check with yourself and think, where's this coming from? Did I hear somewhere? And just be willing to do the hard work to kick those negative thoughts out so you can actually walk in who you really are.
It's fantastic. Stan, I think you got the answer you were looking for.
I think I got the answer I was looking for. That was great. That was a great thing of how people can, if they can change the way they think. Absolutely. That was tremendous advice there, Alice.
Good. I'm glad it's helpful.
So the last question here, really, and I know that you've given tons of advice and value out there to the listeners, to our following here, our tribe. But I need to ask the question just one more time, just in closing, is what advice do you have for people? If they can give them one or maybe two things what can you give them? What kind of advice can you give them?
I would say the most important thing right now in our time right now is continue with learning and growing. Like, what do you have in your hand that maybe you can grow, right? Maybe you have a little bit of passion about this, but you don't have enough experience in it yet. Well, dig into it. Now's the time to really look what you have in your hand and how can you enhance it? How can you grow? And again, ask the question, what problem can you solve with that? Who needs a resolution to a problem that you have with your passion, right? And what problem can you solve for someone that would change their life? Because that's really what it's all about, is following resolving problems for other people, is how we're able to use our gifts to give back to someone else, and it's a win-win. So really keep growing and take a look at what's in your hand, because it's probably something you can grow with and use.
Fantastic. Stan, is there anything else you want to add, Alice? And then I'm gonna let Stan on for a final question, and then this has been fantastic.
I think that's pretty much on my heart. Just really people getting out there and seeing what's in their hand that they can, and be creative about a solution that they can resolve to help people, and it will help them as well. Yeah.
Stan, you got a last question?
Well, I don't know if it's a question. Well, yeah, let's make it a question. So do you think that people will tell us how much do people need to, let's say, invest in getting this skill or to learn about their passion? Because, like you said, they have time right now. Um, what would be a timeline? Because some people might want money right now. And
Right.
go ahead.
Yeah. So if you need money right now, I would take with what you have and roll with it. You know, create, like I said, do a 2 day challenge and then have a back end of like a master class, right? So that you could actually create some money in your hand right now. If you don't have anything like that, you feel like you need more training, then there's so many courses out there that people are giving and doing just this that you can take to be able to get the hands-on information that you need to be able to move forward. And there's a lot of gurus out there that don't really give you the nuts and bolts. So you have to be careful that you find the right person that's going to give you the tools that you can take and run with and know exactly the how. How do I do a Facebook group? How do I do a live? How do I create a course? Like, how do I do these things? So that's important. But there's so many out there. Like I go with 100x, but there's a lot out there that will help you, give you the nuts and bolts. But just follow some training and start and dive into it. There's so many books out there as well, right? Audio, there's a million choices that you can pick, but follow something that you're passionate about and start digging into it. And what can I learn? What can I get back from this?
So fantastic. Now, Alice, for our listeners or our viewers out there, how can they get a hold of you if they have some other questions, or if you have, any links or anything like that? Please do go ahead, drop them in the comment box, and then when we upload this to other platforms, we'll be sure to include that. But if there's anything you want to say to the people out there in closing, we're good. Now's the time.
Yeah. So, just all I can say is believe in you, because everybody has gifts. Everybody has talents. Everybody has something in their hand that they can take right now and solve a problem and help people and create income. Everyone has something. It's just a matter of deciding what that is. And for me, I'm actually running a 21-day group that starts on April 20th. So if someone wants to do a detox or a 3-day cleanse, they can join me. I'll have that link in the comments. It's fun and now's a good time because we're stuck at home or safe at home, I like to say. Why not use it to, get healthier, since it's a good opportunity to create the new healthy habits now while we're home and hopefully are not running around as much as we normally are. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, Alex, when this is over, go ahead and just drop those links in the Facebook group there, and Stan and I will be sure that is attached to wherever this video ends up going, so that we can follow you too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to chat with you all.
Well, thanks. And you're really our first real kind of interview. Stan and we've interviewed ourselves over and over the past time, but you're the, kind of the outsider coming in. And I know that you're a professional at what you do. And so Stan and I today are the reporter, and we want you to tell your story, and you did a fantastic job at that. So
thank you so much. It was fun. Thank you.
All right.
Very good. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Yeah,
so everybody out there in the tribe watching this is George, Stan, and Alice coming from Turn Your Passion to Income Facebook page, and it will also be on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe. Click on the link. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Any questions? If there's anything you would like to see more, even if you want to be somebody who wants to interview or us to interview you, or you want to interview us or something like that, we are open. We would love to hear what your story is, your challenges, how you got through it, or even if you have not gotten through it, maybe there's another viewer who has gotten through it, and we can put the two of you together. So this is all about you. Okay, this is George, Stan, and Alex signing off. You guys have a fantastic day.
Bye, guys.